Hello, my name is Beth Pack, and this is my lesson plan video. I would like to talk to you today about the book called The Little Mermaid by Hans Christian Andersen. Have you ever heard of the man Hans Christian Andersen? Well, he is an author from back in the 1800s, and he has written several great works of art. Some are more popular than others. One in particular, of course, The Little Mermaid. There's also The Ugly Duckling, The Little Match Girl, and The Snow Queen. The Snow Queen. If anybody's ever heard of the movie Frozen, the Snow Queen was the basis of that movie. I would like to maybe read to you a little summary of The Little Mermaid, if you don't mind, just to remind you of what the story was about. All right? So the Little Mermaid lives in an underwater kingdom with her widowed father, the Sea King, or Mer King, her dowager grandmother, and her 5 older sisters, each of whom had been born 1 year apart. When a mermaid turns 15, she is permitted to swim to the surface for the first time to glimpse the world above. And when the sisters become old enough, each of them visits the upper world one at a time every year. As each returns, the Little Mermaid listens longingly to the various descriptions of the world inhabited by human beings. When the Little Mermaid's turn comes, she rises up to the surface, watches a birthday celebration being held on a ship in honor of a handsome prince, and falls in love with him from a safe distance. A violent storm hits, sinking the ship, and the Little Mermaid saves the prince from drowning. She delivers him unconscious to the shore near a temple. Here she waits until a young woman from the temple and her ladies-in-waiting find him. To her dismay, the prince never sees the Little Mermaid or even realizes that it was she who originally saved his life. The Little Mermaid becomes melancholy and asks her grandmother if humans can live forever. The grandmother explains that humans have so much shorter lifespan than mermaids, which is 300 years. Wow, that would be great to live for 300 years. But that when mermaids die, they turn to sea foam and cease to exist. While humans have an eternal soul that lives on in heaven. The Little Mermaid, longing for the prince and an eternal soul, visits the sea witch in a dangerous part of the ocean. The witch willingly helps her by selling her a potion that gives her legs in exchange for her tongue and beautiful voice. So she gives up her voice and her tongue. Her tongue, oh my goodness. That would be crazy. So the witch willingly helps her, selling her a voice for her tongue and her voice, as the Little Mermaid has the most enchanting voice in the world, apparently. The witch warns the Little Mermaid that once she becomes a human, she will never be able to return to the sea, consuming the potion that will make her feel as if a sword is being passed through her body. Yet when she recovers, she will have 2 human legs and will be able to dance like no human has ever danced before. However, she will constantly feel as if she is walking on sharp knives. Oh no. In addition, she will have obtained a soul only if she wins the love of the prince and marries him. For then a part of his soul will flow into her. Otherwise, at dawn on the first day after he marries someone else, the Little Mermaid will die with a broken heart and dissolve into sea foam upon the waves. After she agrees to the arrangement, the Little Mermaid swims up to the surface near the prince's castle and drinks the potion. The liquid felt like a sword piercing through her body, and she passed out on the steps of the prince's palace, naked. She is found by the prince, who is mesmerized by her beauty and grace, and even though she is mute, most of all, he likes to see her dance. She dances for him despite suffering excruciating pain for every step. Soon, the little mermaid becomes the prince's favorite companion and accompanies him on many of his outings. When the prince's parents encourage their son to marry the neighboring princess in an arranged marriage, the prince tells the little mermaid he will not because he does not love the princess. He goes on to say he can only marry the young woman from the temple whom he believes rescued him. It turns out that the princess from the neighboring kingdom is the temple girl, as she was sent to the temple for her education. The prince declares his love for her, and the royal wedding is announced at once. The prince and princess celebrate their new marriage on a wedding ship, and the little mermaid's heart breaks. She thinks of all that she has sacrificed and all of the pain she has endured for the prince. She despairs, thinking of the death that awaits her. But before dawn, her sisters rise out of the water and bring her a dagger that the sea witch had given them in exchange for their long, beautiful hair. If the little mermaid kills the prince and lets his blood drip on her feet, she will become a mermaid once more. All of her suffering will end, and she will live out her full life in the ocean with her family. However, the little mermaid cannot bring herself to kill the sleeping prince lying with his new wife, and she throws the dagger and herself off the ship into the water just as dawn breaks. Her body dissolves into foam, but instead of ceasing to exist, she feels the warm sun and discovers that she has turned into a luminous and ethereal, earth-bound spirit, a daughter of the air. As the little mermaid ascends into the atmosphere, she is greeted by other daughters who tell her she has become like them because she strove with all of her heart to obtain an immortal soul. Because of her selflessness, she is given the chance to earn her own soul by doing good deeds for mankind for 300 years and will one day rise up into heaven. Wow. I don't think anybody has really read that book before. So you are going to write a script today. That story, is there any way that you would change it, any aspects of that story? I know Disney has made a Little Mermaid movie, and it is a little different, actually a lot different from the actual book itself. So how would you change the story yourself if you were given the chance? So I would like for you to get together in groups of 3 or 4, and I want you to write your own script, just talking about just different ways that you would write that story. I would also like for you to use the past perfect tense of verb form at least 10 times in your script as you write it. What is the past perfect tense? It is the subject. Now, of course, this is a sentence. It begins with a subject, which is a verb, and then it has the word had. Had is past tense of have. Isn't that correct? And plus the past participle. All right, here are some examples. She had asked for some water. He had worked on the essay. They had called their parents on the phone. He had used the elevator to go upstairs. All right. I look forward to hearing what you have to say, and you will be graded on the grammar, on the words, the vocabulary, which are mermaid, sea, oysters, princess, prince, ship, royal, fireworks, sailors, storm, palace, and witch. I would like for you to have those vocabulary in there as well. So 10 times the past participle, or past perfect form of the verb. All right, thank you very much.